Aloha, siblings, and welcome to another Minetest Monday. Before I get started on the game, let me do let's take care of some business, shall we? The first order of business would be the typical YouTuber spiel. So if you like the video, please click the thumbs up. If you would like to see more of my videos, click the subscribe button along with the notification bell so that you get notified. I also have links in the description for social media like Facebook and Instagram. I also have links to two other channels I have. One is a vlog channel and one is a music channel. They're called W.C. Postman and Three Monks in a Tub, respectively. I haven't posted there recently. Actually, it's been quite a while. Because I've been focusing on this channel. I'll get to those soon, I hope. What else do I need to tell you about? There's also a link to a SoundCloud in the description and a Patreon. The Patreon is just a $1 a month tip kind of a situation. If you don't want to give me $1 a month, but you'd still like to, maybe provide some financial support, there's a thank you button that YouTube provides, and you can just, give me $1 once, and that, that's super generous, and I'd appreciate that. Or you don't have to give me any money. It helps me if you do, but if you don't, that's groovy. But let's see, you don't need to. I would prefer if you did things like, comment on other people's comments and respond, that kind of thing. And of course, sharing. I think sharing of videos is probably the best thing you can do to, help me grow the channel. I think that covers it for the business angle of things for my being a YouTuber. I guess the next thing to talk about is I get a lot of questions. I get some questions a lot of the time, repeatedly. Even though I have occasionally done this little spiel at the beginning, I'll still get the questions. So I do not play Minecraft, I play Minetest. I don't play Minecraft because I don't like Microsoft, the corporation. I don't care for their operating system, and I think they're guilty of predatory business practices. Now, you don't have to agree with me, and if you want to do business with Microsoft, feel free. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I just don't. That's not what I do. That's my own personal choice. Let's see what else. Oh, I do know that I can hold buttons down and the like. I do what I do because I like the clicky sounds it makes, so I click in a manner that I find pleasing. There you go. Is there something else I need to tell you guys about? That's probably it. If something else comes, I can always interrupt the game and just go, oh, by the way, I remembered something, kind of thing. So I suppose, without further ado, let's go ahead and start playing the game. Let's move to this window here. Okay, there we go. There's my little floating head. Up. Okay, yeah, let's start playing the game. Let's hope. I guess the first thing I'll ask you guys to do is to comment on the volume, because I'm continually tinkering with it. I'm still trying to get it to something that I'm happy with. It's I think it's better this time than it was last time, but I suppose there's always room for improvement, isn't there? I'm gonna go fix some divots. Where are some other ones over here? Because as I was trying to get the volume set up, I was just going around and, banging on stuff and doing things to see if I liked the balance of sound. I suppose I could just leave them, but, why not? Let's just go fix it, right? I think that's about it. I think everything else is okay. Well, I'll find more, I suppose, if I did do them, and I'll just fill them up then. Alright, so what is today's plan? Well, it's going to be the typical thing that I do. Man, I'm starting to say a lot. I guess I've always done that a bit, but I keep trying to, dude, stop saying so much. I think I'll go ahead and walk around or fly around at night a bit here. I know I can do the bed thing, but, Anyway, so back to the plan. I'll be wandering around doing, my wandering nonsense. And then I will, here, I'm going to turn on fly mode. And so I want to go up. And so here we go. This is the stuff I've been building so far, right? So let's get so we can get a decent bird's eye view. This is all pretty rudimentary at the moment, right? Because well, I'm a newbie basically still. I mean, well, you can see how many mind tests I played. Okay, so this is another thing I will tell people, is that I don't play this game except for when I'm recording it for you guys, which means my progress is going to be fairly slow because I only play it every 2 weeks. But there's a couple of reasons for that. I always kind of forget what I've done, so I kind of have to kind of clumsily go back and rediscover where I've been. That amuses me, and I'm hoping that it provides you guys with some entertainment as well as, this is an ASMR channel, so my main thing is that I use games as a delivery system for ASMR for people to kind of chill out and relax, maybe get tingles if you actually are, a human that experiences the ASMR phenomenon. Let's go ahead and fly over there. This is the stuff that I started building from before. And, well, let's just go over here and look at it, and I'll tell you guys why I was disappointed with it and why I've more or less abandoned it for the moment. I mean, I may come back to it and either, modify it to my liking, or perhaps I'll just dismantle it. And here we go. But anyway, after some wandering around and the like, I'm going to go ahead and just kill flying. Let's just, poink. Alright. And, yeah, wandering around, adding to my projects. I don't think I'll start dismantling this one yet. I guess that's it, really. So I guess I've, already told you what the plan for the day is, so I suppose I ought to just start just doing it. Okay, so here's the thing. When I first did this, these things are called walls, these little pieces. And I assumed that they would be like a wall, that I could use as a building, but you'll notice how it has this little divot-y stuff. That's probably not the right word, but I think you take my meaning, that it kind of up, down, this sort of thing, which is nice for sort of a decorative wall. So I guess that's what this is. Well, actually, other people have even told me, it's like, yeah, you're right, that's kind of what this is designed for. And so it's like an exterior wall, like something you might put around your yard or your property or something, to either keep people or animals out or in, kind of a thing. So, which, I did find disappointing. I will cop to that. And, wait, my left hand, so it's my left, but on your right. The sound just came out of it's not in my thing. It's like it's actually this one over here, right? So my left on, is that right? Am I thinking about this right? This is the one that's not working, so it's my left, so it should be your right. And just, I always get disoriented about the whole flip around thing. Because it's a camera, not a mirror, right? Okay, is it? There we go. That seems like everything's back to where it should be. Heebie-jeebie. What a bit of silliness. Alright. Alright, yeah, so let's just go back over here, I guess. And, oh, you know what, I don't remember how I got into here. I think there's a gate over here, so let's actually go into it and just kind of walk around my half-assed thing that I'm dissatisfied with and want to do something else with. So I think I have an entrance over here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. I think there's a gate here. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Well, I guess I just did it, so. So maybe what I ought to do is, let me look at inventory for a bit. And I don't need the butterfly here for the moment, so I'll just put them there. I'll just leave that empty for the moment. And let's get out of inventory. Now let me move myself to, oops, there we go. Now I think, now if I click, is this a gate? I thought this was a gate. No, Nope, see, that's not what I want to do. There you go, you right-click it to move it, okay. I guess that makes sense. You right-click to, you know, like, oh, here's a thing I think I need to go fill in. Why not? So let's put, oh, let me go look at it to make sure that I didn't dig this down for a reason. Nope, okay. There we go. Alright, so... yeah, see, I hadn't really decided what I was going to do with this. Yeah. Oh, let me go walk over here, because... yeah, there's a different sound when you walk on stone and stuff, so I was just kind of, I didn't check that when I was... do I want to fill that in? Yeah, why not? Alright. I don't know that there's really much else to look at around here. I mean, you get the idea of it, right? It's just sort of a... so I was sort of laying the wall down here, thinking that I was just kind of, you know, I'll just do, well, like one course of these things, thinking that I'm more or less just laying out my floor plan and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. You know, I wasn't even sure what kind of building it was going to be. I was thinking, you know, something along the lines of possibly a residence, right? So this was going to be some sort of entryway yard sort of space. And then that's when I noticed that it's like, how did I not notice this already? You know, I think that's what it was, is as I started stacking these to kind of have a better idea about, you know, what I was doing. And I was like, wait, what's that little hole there? Yippee-yi-yay. Anyway, so that's that. Let's go look at some of the other stuff. So I'm going to turn on flying for a minute. Let's go up a bit, and now let's just go this way. Let's go up a bit more, why not? And yeah. So, I mean, I kind of, man, it's this, I feel like a kid a lot of times when I'm playing this, just because, you know, I still get sort of, the square blockiness of it just fascinates me as far as the aesthetic and the way it looks and all of that. Okay, so this I just made to make a glass building, and then I put light in it just to see, hey, what does that look like? Yeah, well, so there you go, that's what it looks like. I don't know if I'll do anything else with it or not. Maybe I'll turn it into like a miniature little greenhouse or something, I don't know. I've actually been starting to think maybe I should start thinking about making this playable. Although I don't know, maybe, I don't know. So here's the thing, that I won't say that I've been wrestling with it, but I've been kind of thinking about it. Here, let's go down again. Oh, there you go, floating hand. Oops, it's getting out of the... well, there you go. Okay, let's go back over here. Anyway, so I've been thinking about, do I want to make this game something that I can put up on one of the Luanti servers, because Minetest is a game inside of Luanti. But apparently there are these game servers where people can make games and make them available for other people to play. And I do want to participate in that. I think what I will do is try to make a playable game just for, well, I don't know, just out of curiosity more than anything, I suppose. But I've been debating, should I just make a game and just have it be, you know, like a silly novice first attempt, and then go actually try to play a playable game? Or should I mean, the logical thing, I suppose, is to actually play a game, you know, and then get an idea of what it is that people are doing, and then, you know, use that as, oh, I see how that goes, you know, that kind of thing. But then part of me, I also just like the idea of fumbling around and discovering stuff for myself sometimes, so I don't know. But anyway, so on that, I also have been thinking about whether or not I should just make this game be only, for me just to screw around with and never make it public and just leave it like that. So I'll always have a universe that is really just a sandbox universe for me to just, goof off in creative mode. So there's no, because I also have it set that there's no damage. You know what I mean? So I can go climb up or fly to that tall mountain there and then just step off, and go, ooh, and I fall, but there's no, consequences. Which I like. It kind of amuses me. But this is all more or less a ways in the future, though, isn't it? Because I haven't, well, there's really nothing here, is there? I mean, other than the game itself, right? I haven't added enough to really, make it a game of its own. Maybe what I ought to do is, at some point, make a playable game. Just in a rudimentary, very simple fashion, and try playing my own game first or something. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just going to wing it. Yeah, I'm getting impatient now. I have to, let's do some flying around. So how far do I want to go, or do I want to just go back and look at stuff that I don't feel like building just yet? Hey, there's flowers over here that I don't remember seeing, so either I just didn't notice them before, or I just forgot. I can get absent-minded pretty easily. And it's like, I've always kind of had that weird absent-minded thing. I've always joked that it's, I'm the absent-minded professor, although I'm not really a professor of anything. I want to go look over here, because I'm thinking of, do I want to follow this natural terrain thing here, maybe turn this into sort of an amphitheater space, you know what I mean, that kind of thing, or should I just leave it be natural? And I think I've been in these caves. Let's just look down in there. Is there lights? Oh no, does this one even look? Well, it's hard for me to tell how high up I am, so let's just go down a bit, I guess. And let's see, it's shift to go down, right. And now let's just fly over there a little bit more. Okay, I don't. So maybe I haven't been in that one. I don't really see any lights, or if I did, maybe they're just farther down. I don't feel like doing any spelunking just now, so let's just fly around. I'm really liking this kind of field with the smattering of flowers. See, I don't know, it's like sometimes the way they do the foliage, it sometimes reminds me of Bob Ross stuff, when he's doing his little leaves around the tree, where he's, doing that, like poking the brush into the canvas kind of thing. Oh, there you go. And if you don't know who Bob Ross is, and you are into ASMR, you should go find out who Bob Ross is. Man, he does paintings. Like a instructional painting show on public broadcasting here in the United States. But it's all over YouTube. You can just, YouTube search Bob Ross, and there's plenty of stuff for you to go check out. But he's just super peaceful and groovy, and his show is just a really good source of ASMR if you're looking for tingles. Alright, I'm going to go down here and look at this little beach area. I like these floating things, man. They really do just get me going. I don't know. Wow, it's cool. I don't know. I guess it's again, this game has this really uncanny effect on me to, oh, I'm holding the wrong thing down. There we go. What was that about, Bill? Ooh, the sand is a bit louder than other things to walk on, isn't it? Hopefully that's not too bad. I mean, I like the sound of it, but again, it's fiddling with the balance of sound. I think what I may have to do at some point, because I'm pretty sure there's a way I could set up OBS. That's the recording software I use for, capturing these games and all this stuff. Because it does a lot of really good, it has a lot of really good screen capturing capacity. So you can capture, a window, the whole screen, you can set up regions kind of a thing. And anyway, I keep losing my train of thought because I'm like staring at stuff and going, Anyway, so it has the capacity. I'm pretty sure I've seen this somewhere in it that where you can actually separate, as opposed to just doing an audio mix, live as you're recording it, as if you're doing a live broadcast. I think there's a way of actually sending all the individual audio tracks to their own actual file. You know what I mean? So you could separate them out. And then, or maybe, I think you can also do it so that they're actually separate audio tracks, but still bound to the video, so you don't have to worry about resyncing them. I don't know. There's the thing. I just don't know all the details and what its actual abilities are, so I have to look into that, I suppose. Yet again, more stuff that... So I'm wondering if I walk through this grass, does it make a different noise? No, not really. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna... Do I want to... Because I have walked underwater a fair amount in a... I don't know if I've done it in this since I switched, because when I first started, I was playing a version of Minetest that was a little older, and before they switched to calling it Luanti. And I don't know that since I made the upgrade / switch, whatever you want to call it, if I've been underwater. Well, hell, let's go underwater, I guess, for a minute. I guess I'm not underwater, though, but... I'm going to go look, see if there's a... If it looks like there's ways of, like using stairways to get up, because I'm not sure. Well, I don't know. How much do I want to go underwater? Yeah, not today. Alright, I want to go look at a different area. Let's, turn on flying again. Yay, flying mode. And let's go look at these trees, and I guess these look like ferns to me. Is that what they're supposed to be? Interesting. I'm going to take one, and I'm going to go into inventory and see if it'll tell me what it is. Fern, right? Okay. Yeah, I don't really need a fern. Let's just put it there. And now let's get out of inventory. And so trees, ferns. Let's walk around on this. Looks more like something like a... like forest floor, right? Not a whole lot of grass, but, Anyway, okay, let's... Still a very similar sound to walking on grass, anyway. It's like, is it supposed to be dried leaves or whatever? Well, here, let's capture that, too. Or, no, we don't. It's not... I guess it doesn't let you capture this. Why would it do that? Weird. Alright, anyway. Why did it, I don't know what's going on here. Weird. Alright, well, let's put it back. Let me go in the inventory and remove it again, because I don't know why, but I have this, sometimes I get in this mood where I want to have my hand being the little thing that you see down in the lower right where you're, doing stuff, right? Alright, that's the beach area again. Let's see, this is like a different beach area. So I guess this sticks out then, doesn't it? Come on now. Oh, there's a tree in my way, isn't there? So let's go over here this way. So I'm going to go this way. Yeah, see, this kind of juts out a bit, doesn't it? Okay. And there's that island over there. Let's go down here. Let's get over here. I know. I like a lot of the game sound effects, so I hope. Well, so here's the thing. When I make videos, or whether it's ASMR or anything else for that matter, I tend to just make what I like. You know what I mean? So, but of course I'm willing to be, to a point flexible, because I realize that, it's YouTube, and if I'm trying to be a YouTuber, it's like being mindful of my audience is, probably wise. But even if I'm doing something to accommodate the audience, it needs to be something that I would go, oh, okay, yeah, I agree with that. You know what I mean? I am not going to make something that I think sucks. Nice flowers, yay, what's... Huh. I like these firefly things, man. Oh, some of you may have noticed, I'm not sure, I didn't think I've mentioned it yet, but recently I acquired a mechanical keyboard, which I only really use for game playing stuff, for recording ASMR, because it's just it was an inexpensive mechanical keyboard, just because, well, whatever, the choice I made. Well, because I prefer when I'm actually typing, when I'm put something down in, paragraph form, so to speak, I prefer to use something that has a bit of a ergonomic bend to it, where your hands are kind of doing that thing rather than doing this thing. Oh no, don't do that, you thing, just stop that. Okay, the camera has these weird hand gesture things you can do to make it zoom in or follow your face or something. Sometimes I find it a little annoying, so so sometimes I accidentally set it off, and it's like, alright, watch what you're doing, Bill. Don't give the poor camera erroneous signals. I mean, it's made by OBSBot, or I'm wondering if it's supposed to be OBSBot. Anyway, the idea is that they're taking advantage of AI technology to be able to, do these things for you, which is fine. I think that's a good use of AI. I'm completely disgusted by people who use AI to just generate content, you know what I mean, where they just write cues and then it generates a script for them, and then they go to a thing that does, well, it'll read the script for them, with a digital voice, and then they go get a thing that will take those two things and turn it into, generate a video for you, and then like something in like the amount of time it takes me just to set up a video, maybe even less than that, you've got a video, and then you can just sort of, I'm sure that people get it down to a place where it's a systematic means that they're doing it, and then they just generate them out, right? Just churning them out like junk, which is really what it is, in my opinion. It's like race to the bottom consumer capitalist, like late stage consumer capitalism nonsense. It just really bothers me, especially when it comes to creative endeavors, like, something like on YouTube. It's like, this stuff should be humans making stuff for humans, man. I'm fine if you want to use AI, say, as a tool. Like, for example, if you were, doing some graphic stuff and you had a texture, and you kind of created this thing, oh, that's a cool texture, but I'd like it to spread over that whole wall or over that whole field or something. And then you could use something like, hey, could you just fill that in for me following this, example? And, to help you do, like, the more tedious aspects of work, I suppose, is fine. Or I know people who are writers, and they'll use AI during their editing process to help find mistakes, or if they're saying like, man, this wording is awkward or whatever, that kind of thing, they might use it as a tool to kind of shake their brain out of being stalled or something. It's like, if you're using it as a tool to assist you in your efforts to actually do creative work, I'm fine. But if you're using AI as a substitute because you're lazy and you just want to get easy money out of YouTube, then I have no respect for you. Right? Because there's going to be some people, like, say, somebody who is actually dumb. I don't mean to insult someone's intelligence. I mean dumb as in they can't speak. I don't know, does anybody really still use that anymore? Because it's my understanding that was sort of the original usage of the word, but I might be wrong in that. But like to be struck dumb, right? You can't speak kind of thing. Anyway, so if you have a situation where you can't speak, or you have difficulty speaking, or maybe you just have a speech impediment that has you very self-conscious and lacking in confidence, and so you want to use a digital reader for that, right? But so if you genuinely write the stuff, and then you're just using the digital voice because of, for the situation I just described, again, I would be fine with that, because you're a human doing creative effort as a human for other humans, and you're using a tool to help you accomplish that. But again, if you're just churning out crap, stop, please. Find something else to do to generate income. Well, I mean, you know what? You can do whatever you want to do. It's a free world, but that stuff makes me angry, I guess, is a better description of my state. I mean, well, see, there you go. If you've watched my WC Postman channel, which is where I do vlog stuff, I call myself the atheist anarchist advocating agape, just because I like the alliteration of it. And but anyway, it gives you an idea of my, how I think of myself, right? Because I'm not anti-theist, I'm atheist. But as an anarchist, I'm not looking for chaos and destruction. I'm looking for, anarchist meaning, like monarchy means one king, right? Or one ruler, I guess I should say. Typically we use, king as the thing because it's always been patriarchal in those situations. Well, not always, but usually patriarchal and that sort of thing for a big chunk of human history. And history being the stuff that we've written down, not the stuff that we've actually, as our past. In any case, so if monarchy is one king, then anarchy is without one, So no kings, no rulers. Because, look, people can tell people what to do in specific circumstances, right? Contexts. You can even use hierarchical systems, I suppose, in particular contexts, right? For example, if you're having a professional football team, you don't want to have the team voting on plays during the game. You want to have a coach who's designed the plays because that's their expertise. Their role is to design the plays, and and there's going to be a coaching staff whose jobs it is to, get the athletes into top conditions, right? So the athletes should pay attention to those people, right? In that kind of hierarchical notion. But at the same time, I believe that those people that are in the coaching staffs or doing training type stuff or strategy type stuff, they work for the team as well as the players, though, right? If their function sucks, then they should be, if you're not working for the team, doing what's in the best interest for all the players, i.e. so you're working for the players as much as the players are working for you, then that's when I think you get screwed up. It's like, I don't want people suffering through oppressive relationships where somebody is oppressing another human. Anyway, so that's why I, always do my weird qualifying statements. So yeah, I don't really want to tell you what to do in that regard, because it's like, it's not my place to rule people. So I will offer my insight, and I'll tell you when I get grumpy and angry, but yeah. Anyway, let's stop rambling on about such things, Bill, and get back to being a relaxed ASMR guy. So hopefully that ramble of my psychological state around certain things has not put too many people off and chased you away. Alright, so let's go flying around. How long have I been playing so far? Just over a half an hour. And I don't think there's too much for me to edit out yet as far as coughing and sneezing and external sounds. Although, wait a minute. Today is trash pickup day. Monday is trash pickup day, so maybe I shouldn't have started Minetest Mondays, Maybe I should have picked a different day. Because I like to do it in the morning so that I can do it, edit it, make the thumbnails and all the stuff, and then, post it so that, it comes out on Monday. Anyway, so I was just stopping to see if it didn't seem like the truck noises were being that loud. Alright, yeah, okay, I think, let's do a little bit of building. Because I think I'm going to have to do a fair amount of just standing around for a minute and going, because I'm pretty sure that what I want to do with this building here is turn it into sort of a, like a mansion sort of a thing, I think. Oops, let's go down, Bill. Here, let's just disable. Okay. Alright, so let's look around. I'm more or less kind of in the middle here. So what is it that I'm after in this place if I'm going to do it as a mansion? Do I want to clear out all the foliage first? I suppose that's probably a good idea. Although I have been thinking of keeping sort of like I think it's over at this end. Is it over at this end? Yeah, let me fly again for a minute. Because I remember thinking that I wanted to have at least part of it. Maybe this is it over here. Yeah, I guess this is it over here. Right, yeah, this is it over here. Right, because I haven't done... Right. Okay, that's what I was thinking. So this bit's going to be outside, but inside. So I haven't decided if I want the walls to be the same walls. And this should be a gate that's an entrance, for, because I have another entrance over at the other, over here, which we'll go look at in a minute, but I liked the idea of having this be kind of walled, maybe even partially covered over, to make it sort of atrium-like. And then have this kind of cave thing be part of the interior of the space, I don't know what I'll do with it. If anything, maybe I'll just have it be sort of a curiosity inside of the property, but anyway, so I'm going to leave this bit alone for the moment because I'm still unsure of how I want to proceed with it. So let's go back over here, but this bit is going to be all the interior space. Another thing I've been considering is, do I want to follow the natural geographic terrain in here, like with these levels? Or do I want to just, raise them all down to the same level, Alright, so before I do any getting rid of foliage, just because I like the foliage, yeah, I like plants. I don't know why I always have this kind of strong affinity to plants. When I was a kid, the guy that lived next door to us for a while, he was a bit of a character. I think I've told stories about him before in a lot of aspects, but he's a really, really interesting guy. But one of the things that he had done in his past was that he had a skill of writing grant proposals. And one of the early grant proposals that he wrote was for a project that he didn't really participate in the research part of the project, just writing the grant proposal so that the research project could actually have the money. And it was one of the projects that had to do with studying plants, and part of that research ended up being in support of this, man, I can't think of the name of it now, it just left my head. I think it was called The Secret Life of Plants, and I think, if I remember, there was a movie made that actually kind of was released for, public consumption as, kind of popular culture as opposed to being, But anyway, the idea of it was that scientists had discovered how plants, and this was the early research, right, so it's like they've done a lot more since then, but about plants responding to stimuli in ways that we didn't anticipate, that kind of indicate that, like, they may have some sort of sense of consciousness that's, maybe not consciousness, but awareness. I mean, I'm not sure even how to describe it, because we don't really know what goes on as far as those types of things, awareness, consciousness, and all that. It's really next to impossible, if not impossible, to, ascertain that stuff in things that aren't humans. I mean, it's difficult enough for us to interact with each other in a meaningful enough way that we really think, do I really know what's in your head or your heart? The answer is more or less no. I mean, we can kind of get ideas. We can get ideas enough that we can, have those notions and ideas and understandings guide our behavior and stuff like that. But, there's this song by the band XTC. They're a British band, sort of a, I don't know, I think they often get called post-punk, but that's such a weird, vague term, you know what I mean? As time has progressed, it's really become sort of it's about as meaningless as New Wave. Anyway, XTC, they have this song called, is it No Language in Our Lungs? I think is what it's called. That's the chorus line anyway. It's on the album Black Sea, and it's talking about that idea that, there's no language in our lungs, i.e. the idea is that we don't have any way to really say the things, language is useful, but it doesn't, it's symbolic, right? What the word means is what the word means in your head at the moment that you're using it to think with, right? So we hope that we all have the same understanding of words so that we can, just because we want to communicate, right? And there's, certain superficial levels of communication where you can go, oh, if I say turn left and then you turn left, and I go, okay, yeah, you understood what I meant, but when it comes to more subtle or nuanced type things, it's the whole notion of communication becomes very frustrating. And I want to go back to the idea I just mentioned, the whole post-punk thing, and that made me say something about post-punk being about as a useless or meaningless word as New Wave. That kind of came from, I watched this movie called The Decline of Western Civilization. Now the first one, which is the punk rock stuff, not the metal stuff that came a few years later. And there's this guy, he was from a band, and I don't remember which band, but he went on this little bit of a rant tirade kind of thing as he was being interviewed, saying that I think his language was, New Wave doesn't mean shit. He says, there's punk rock, and there's hardcore punk rock, and there's power pop, and he starts lifting off all these sort of, subgenres of music, and it was very interesting, because he was saying all this stuff from the standpoint of, sort of like, almost like tribalism. I don't know that he was really trying to exclude people, but it kind of had that, I don't know, kind of had that feel to it to me. But again, so I don't know what he really meant, but because I always get frustrated with those types of labels, because a lot of times it's like, yeah, those things really, the purpose they serve is which bin to put it in at the record store, isn't it? You know what I mean? Or so that critics can, write about it so you kind of have an idea about what they mean. But outside of that, I don't think it's terribly useful to think in terms of those labels, really. But I don't know. Anyway, so there's my thoughts on that nonsense. Okay,
just babbling while you're walking around, dude. Let's start looking at this space and think about, let's see, where I have a bed over here. Where's the bed? Is it over here? I don't remember where I put it. I was sure I had a bed inside of here somewhere. Well, let me fly for a minute and see. Yeah, there it is right there. Okay. Because I feel like having light to look at. And let's turn off flying. And let's go over here and let me do this. There we go. And now it's daytime. Yay for me. Okay. Alright, let me go back up to flying again for a moment, just so I can get an aerial view. Right, because this part's the entryway, which we'll go look at in a minute. Because I think I'll start at this end. So what I want at this end, clearly there's going to be an entryway, and I think I'd like it to come into sort of just a space that is like the first space of the room. Yeah, so just like an extension of the entryway, kind of. And then I think I think I am going to follow the natural geography of what's been put into the game. Just because it seems a bit, I don't know, eccentric, which that appeals to me. I also think I'm going to do the thing where I leave parts of it where there's just the exterior brought into the interior. I kind of like that kind of stuff. Alright, so I think the way I have this now is this is going to be the height, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a floor on top of this. See, I'm debating now. I think I'm going to have this come up, right? So there'll be like a little lip here, right? And so that I think that I'm going to put the roof, well, this will be the ceiling of the first floor, or obviously the floor of the next, right? So I think I'm going to do that on top of this, but leave this will be, so like be a step up, right, right here and over here. Well, I don't know if that doesn't make sense. It will make sense when I actually get to the building of it. So this will come in. I think I'd like this to be a hallway, right? Right, so that what you would do is you'd come in the entryway, there'll be some kind of stuff over here. I don't know what will be over here just yet. But then there'll be like ways to choose where you're going. So like this way will come down and this will take you to, and there'll be rooms and spaces along this side of the building. That the only way you get into them is to come down to this hallway, and then like if you're walking this way you turn left into them, kind of thing. Yeah, I think I like that idea. So now I have to decide on how many rooms and what kind. So I like them to be very grand, you know what I mean? Man, I'm almost tempted to go put a whole nother course of this to make it even taller. Let me think on what rooms I want where and lay down a floor plan first. And then what I'll do is I think I'll have some rooms go up and some rooms don't. And then there'll be kind of a similar sort of following of terrain on the upper floors, you know what I mean? Yeah, I like that idea. Okay, so over here, I think I want this to be a study. Right? Like when you come in and somebody says, oh, the master of the house, he's in his study, and then the person will lead you over to here, and then there'll be some big door. All right, so that's what this is going to be. So I think I'll keep it reasonably rectilinear, because it already has interest because of the terrain change. All right, yeah, so do I want to keep with the rock stuff, and then putting the walls above that? Yeah, I think I do want to do that. So let's just start with that. Let me just put this in. I'll make a decision, and then I'll go from there and see what I want to do next. So I can kind of just lay out I don't think I'll put walls up until I kind of have a more complete idea of the floor plan. So let me go into inventory. I don't really need dirt with grass right now. I'm not going to do any windows just yet. I'm not going to do any more walls just yet. Will I lay down this, or do I want to have it be a different floor? I don't know yet, so I'm going to get this out. So that way I'll just have to make a decision about that stuff later. Wow, that's plenty of spaces. I don't think I need that. So what do I want to put in here? I want... What was that? Is it this stuff? Cobblestone? Is that what that is there? Let me try that. Oh, sure it is, because that's what that was there. Alright, so here. I keep realizing I keep putting, you know, duplicating stuff all the time. Desert cobblestone, dirt, pine tree. I like down the torches and stuff. You know, I'm just going to leave that like that. I'll probably be popping in and out of inventory, so. Okay, let's kill flying for a moment. Actually, you know what? No, let's not. Let's just not be so high up. Okay, there, that's good enough, so I can put that there. Oops, come on. Oops, let me go over here a bit. Yeah, I thought I had missed a spot there. Alright, let me make sure that it's a yeah, okay, now let's go this way. And there we go, so that's that one there. Oops, I missed another one again. There we go. Alright, let's go over here. Let me go up a bit. Yeah, let's go up quite a bit. Alright, so there's this. There's the study. There's going to be an entryway there. I think that looks like a pretty reasonably sized study. What do you think? Well, I can't hear you, man. You got to talk louder. Alright, I got to come down a bit to be able to put this stuff in. Down a little bit more. There we go. There we are. Let me go over here. Oops, did I double do that? I sure did. There we go. Let's go over here. And yeah, let's do this there like that. I'm not going to bother with any foliage removal until I've gotten... Oh, you know what? I need to start thinking about where the door is going to be, don't I? Do I want it to go straight from where you walk in over here? You know, let's go walk in the entrance. And so let's go out over here, and we'll come back in and kind of get an idea of how the flow is going to go. You know, I have all these weird little spots where I've done stuff like that where it's irregular, and at first I was like, oh, maybe I should fix that, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so here, and then now, again, right, the exterior is coming into the interior a little bit. I think I want to do something more elaborate with plants and stuff in this little alcove, but we'll get to that sometime. Alright, so here we go. So here, let's come back a little bit so we can actually look at it. Because I don't know what I want to do about a walkway or any kind of thing like that. Sort of like a front yard, sort of. Or, you know, the grand grounds, as it were. So, I think I want to build the house first, or the structure, or whatever we want to call it. So, anyways, let's go in. Alright, see there's a light, right? I like that. And there's another light over there. And, oops, let me, there. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to go back and get a step. Hang on a second. I threw those in the trash, didn't I, rather than just move them out. So let's go collect some. So I just realized, because somebody had told me that if I use the steps rather than these just little slabs, that you just automatically walk up the steps when you go there. rather than having to do the jumping thing. So I think in some spots I want it to do that. Okay, I have, what is this is, I think I have silver sandstone. Is that what this is? Yeah, I think it's silver sandstone is what I have here. That matches the walls and stuff over there. Let's go see if that's the case. So let's come over here. Now do I want to do it here too? Wait, or have I already done that here? I think I've already done that here. Alright, is this still a stair or is this... Okay, never mind. Maybe I already did that. Okay. I honestly can't remember. Alright. So, anyway, let me go. I started paying more attention to that than I was to how I feel about the entryway. Okay, so you come in, you've made the turn, you're coming up, and you get to here. Alright, so I don't know. Do I want to pull out all this dirt and then lay down slabs that way, or do I want to go up another step? I'll make that decision later. Alright, so if you walk over here, then there's going to be this sort of, maybe like the kind of entryway that's got a really high ceiling with a chandelier sort of nonsense or something like that. I don't know if they have chandeliers in here. I'll have to figure out some way of mimicking that, I suppose. I suppose what I do is I just find stuff to hang up there just because stuff floats in the air pretty easily. And then just attach lights to it in some decorative manner, I suppose. Anyway, so we come in here, do this. So I think I want the door to be kind of right there. So let's go over here. You know what, I'm going to go back to the bed. Since it's over here, isn't it? I don't feel like working in the dark right now. Okay. So let's go back over here. Oh, nope. Back over here. I got disjointed there for a second. Let's go back and get this bit of stuff laid out here. So I want... Oops, go this way. Is that enough there? Oh, wait. Let's come look over here. Maybe I want to put it differently because of like that. How wide do I want to make the door? Does it need to be more than 2 things wide? No, I think I'll make it 2 things wide. Let's put that there, hang on. So I can always change it, can't I? Alright, and then... Alright, now let's go here. Now let's put a step there. Step there. Right, I think that'll be okay. And yeah, I still don't know if I'm gonna dig down and put slabs or if I'll just make it be that level there. Well, we'll figure that out later. So let's go over here now. Okay. I think that's enough for this bit right here because I'm coming up on an hour and I'd like to get a little bit more done before I call this a done episode. There we go. Now, so there's the study, and that's how you go in over there. So now, how do I want this grand room to go here? Alright, so I want a similar thing to happen over here. But I want it to come this way. Where do I want the entrance over here for the hallway? I think I want the hallway entrance right here. Alright, so... let's come over here. Let's go ahead and turn off flying for a minute. Alright, so I'm going to go... see, I said I wanted this to be the entrance here, so I'll put a step there and a step there. Okay. Okay, I think I'm going to do a weird thing here. Yeah, I'm going to go get a sandstone cube. Where were those at? The silver sandstone, no, coral skeleton. Where's the silver sandstone? That's too tannish. Okay, it's up here. Is this silver sandstone? Okay. Alright, so I'm going to do... Oop. Wrong one there, buddy. Alright. Let's just put that there for me to have some visual whatever. Because I think what I'm going to do, this is going to be... Well, let's go over here. Yeah. Right, so I think what I'm going to do is have the wall come here. And then this will be where it goes. So the wall will come here. Yeah, let me... I guess let's do this and this. Right, and then I'll have the floor do this. I think I'll just leave that open. I might even just leave, like, make this another weird little alcove of nature on the inside kind of thing. Because that really appeals to me. And then, so then the wall separating the hallway will just follow this stuff, yeah. I mean, I'm going to try something real quick. If I get rid of that. Okay, I was thinking that would have to be the case. So when you crush a plant, it's gone. Alright, let's go back into flying mode so I can go up a little bit. And let's go this way. I'm going to have to move my bed, I think. Maybe not. Let's come over here. How are we doing this? Okay, I don't want that there. There we go. Let's get you out of the way. There we go. Let's move you back to there. That's like that. Okay. Let's go this way. And now, I'm thinking, how narrow do I want this hallway to be? Alright, I may excavate some of this out to just make it so that the hallway can be a little bit wider. Because what is it? Well, it's too wide. Is that enough? Okay, I'll leave it like that for the moment. Oops. Alright. Let's come over here now. Actually, let's do this. Let me walk along that. Alright, but remember I was going to say there'd be rooms that would be over here. So I'll have to remove some of these, this part of the wall at some point. Let me go over here now. Oh, let's go this way. So now I've come in the entryway. There's the study, which I'm not going into just yet. And let's kill the flying for a moment. And so I come over here. Yes, I know I need to go to whatever rooms are over here. And you come down this hallway. Like, this will all be paved at some point, I think. So again, so I don't know if I'll excavate the layer down or whether I'll put the slabs on top of it. We shall see. You know what? I don't think I'm going to have an entrance along this hallway. I think what I'll do is I'll have it come all the way down here. And that's how you get into this room. So that hallway will open up whatever will be over here. So I don't even know what this is going to be yet, but let's go back to flying. Let's go up a bit. Right, okay, so I want that like that. That like that. That. Here, let's do this going this way. Now, how far over do I want this room to go? I think there. All right. Now let's come this way. Okay, so then, how about not close enough there? There we go. Yeah, I'm just going to wing it until I say, yeah, it's big enough. I don't know, is that big enough? What is this room going to be? I still don't know. I mean, I suppose it could just be some sort of weird, like, sitting room kind of thing, you know? Or the music room or something. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and just wall this off. Oops. Nope, nope. Here we go. Okay. So whatever room this is going to be, that's that. So there's no doorways out this. You just come down this hallway into whatever this is. And there you go. Alright, so now let's get over to here. Now I gotta decide, am I gonna have... So is this gonna be a functioning mansion? I.e., am I gonna, do I want to put like a kitchen and a dining room and stuff like that? Do I want that on the ground floor, or do you want to go up to get to that? And where do I want to put the stairway that does get you upstairs? Let's go back and look at the entryway. I think I'll put the stairs over here to go up. Alright. Okay, I'm going to leave that alone for the moment. But I think that's what I'll do, is somewhere here in the entryway will be the... I hope that's not so disorienting when I do that to people. Okay, yeah, there should absolutely be a dining room and a kitchen. I suppose in a practical sense it makes sense to have the kitchen be on the ground floor. So that seems to me that it probably makes sense to have the dining room on the ground floor as well. So I think that's what we'll do here. So I think there should be like a bigger room. Alright, and then what? Man, I'm just not sure. I've reached the state of, option paralysis, I suppose. Okay, so somewhere in here, there's going to be some collection of, like, a couple of rooms. I think this will be like kitchen and dining room. Oh, you know what? If I'm going to have, I'm thinking that maybe there needs to be an exterior entrance to the kitchen. Alright, so I think I'm going to put the kitchen... Let's go back over this way, and I'm going to fly again. Oh, I had flying on already. Alright, let's go this way. Because I'm thinking, do I want to have there to be direct... How is this going to work? Alright, so I think the kitchen needs to be over here for some reason. That's what's appealing to me. How big do I need the kitchen to be? I think I'm going to make the kitchen go here. So this will be the back wall of the kitchen, in relationship to the entryway anyway. Does that look big enough for a kitchen? kitchen. I'm kind of trying to use the bed as a height of a human. Well, how big is the bed? I think it's 2 squares, isn't it? Let's get closer. So 1, 2, yeah, okay. So here we are. So that's right. So that would be. I mean, if we think of 2 squares as being 6 feet, I don't know if that's a really accurate thing or not. And that's already 18 feet, isn't it? Yeah, that's fine. I think that's a big enough kitchen right there. All right. To there, I'm going to go to the bed again. Oh, before I go to the bed, let's go in the entryway during the dark so you can see how I have the light set up. I really like it for whatever reason. It really pleases me. And for those of you who have already seen this will be just like, Bill, I've already seen this, but, oh well, bear with me. There's probably some percentage of people who are new, so, Alright, yeah, see, let me back up again. So, S is backwards, right? Yeah. I almost never walk backwards, I'm always forgetting. So here we go, there's the grand doorway entryway, although I don't think I'm going to put a door on it. I don't know why, I just like the idea of it being kind of oddly exposed to the exterior world in a lot of ways, right? So you come in here, and then there'll be lighting and bump, 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 bump. Then there'll be this room here. All right, now let's go to the bed. Where'd it go? There we go. All right. So again, I want to fly a bit so I can see. Okay, I think. Does this follow that more or less? No, it doesn't, does it? It would have been nice if those 2 things lined up pretty nicely, but they don't have to meet though, do they? There could be like a weird. Well, here, let me start over here and see how it looks if I do it. Oh, maybe I could just do it this way, right? Because that just adds onto a thing there, doesn't it? I think that makes it straight if I do that. Alright, now let's leave some space. And that'll be a big sort of entryway into here. Maybe I don't want to do that. Alright, no, let's take these out. Oops. Alright, where's the grass? And I got rid of the grass, didn't I? Oh, I think grass is this way, isn't it? Is that the grass? No, it's permafrost. Maybe I went the wrong way. Oh, here's the grass. Dirt with grass. Alright, there we are. Alright, let's put some dirt with grass back there. Oops. Oh, I'm too far away, aren't I? Alright. There we go. There we are. Let's get that back. Come on. There we are. Let me dig this out. And put that back. Alright. Now I'm going to take that guy out now. Let's put this guy there like that. For some reason, again, man, I'm not so good with the spatial reasoning type stuff. That's not close enough. Still not. There we go. Yeah, that's a pretty big doorway to, come into the next phase of whatever this place is. And, alright, so back over here. so I think over here is going to be the dining room. And I think just for whatever I'm going to do, I don't know what I'm going to do with this back bit here. Should I make this all be part of the dining room? How many squares is this? Let's come down a bit. There we go. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I guess 12 feet-ish. That's actually a pretty good size. That could be some kind of room. So I think what I'm going to do again is let's go over here. So there's going to be bits that are exterior brought in that I'm going to leave as part of that dining room. And again, I don't know what I'm going to do with this long strip. But I think when I was a kid that my bedroom, actually in this house that we're in, I think it was like 10 by 12, or no, it's bigger than that. I think it's 12 by something though. Maybe it's bigger than, like, maybe it's more like 12 by 14 or something like that. I know it was a pretty good size room. Maybe I'm remembering it all entirely wrong. I suppose I could just go upstairs and measure it. Or perhaps my dad will watch this video and then he'll chime in. Sometimes he watches my stuff. Not that he gets ASMR as far as tingles and stuff, but he's just always been a very supportful father. You know what? I'm going to take these out. No, I'm not. All right, I think what I'm going to do... All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a way to come out of the kitchen. So this is going to be the dining room. You know, maybe I should move the kitchen. Maybe the kitchen shouldn't be here. Maybe the kitchen should be here. Dot, 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 dot. Maybe that's what should be back here. And maybe the entrance should be over here. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. This will be the kitchen. Alright, yeah. Alright, so this will be the back wall of the kitchen, yeah, alright. How far over do I want it from that? I think there. Oops. Let's do this. Let's get rid of that. I know, let's put the blocks there. Oops. Okay. How's that I keep kind of accidentally... Alright, let's go back to here. Alright, so the kitchen's going to have an external exit over there. And then we'll need to have a way for the kitchen to get into the dining room so that people can, like, prepare food and stuff all in here. You know what? I'm going to do this. Right. Like that. So this can all be kitchen here. Let's add another little layer here. I don't know why, but I want a huge kitchen. There we go. Because you have to come in, and then there'll be probably places where you want to store stuff. I figure that'll be what you come in, right? So it'll be easy to come in, stack all your, you know, like your pantry and larder and all that over here, right? And then this area over here could be the main prep area, and then maybe right here, let's make it be 3 doors wide, right? Man, it's probably awkward to have a step down or up, depending on which direction you're going, from the kitchen to the dining room, but I like the idea of keeping the terrain interest, you know what I mean? Alright, so I think I'm going to do it anyway, right? It's just a game, right? It's not like I'm actually expending calories when I'm existing in this world. So you know what I'm going to do? Well, I'm going to leave it alone for now, but okay, so this area is going to be the kitchen. This whole thing will be the dining room. Come out here. So let's do this. Actually, I'll just do that there. Right, because how big does that make this? Man, because I'm thinking like you'll have like some, do I want to have it be multiple tables? So treat the whole dining room as like this gigantic kind of restaurant space? Or should I make it be like with a huge grand table? Because I'm thinking what I'll do if I do a huge table thing, or a series of tables kind of in a row to make it be that, have that kind of grand hall sort of effect. I think I might have it bend, you know? Or maybe not. Maybe just have it be really long. And there'll be extra stuff over here for whatever reason. I don't know, I just like the idea of that. But let's see, this is, even if I just go from here, 2, 3, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I keep losing count, so let's just go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And one more there, right? That gets me to there, right? Right. So that's like 10, right? It's 9, 10. Is that what I was counting there? So that's like 30 feet, isn't it? If I'm saying that 2 squares is 6. So that's huge, isn't it? All right. So that'll be that. So here's, oops. Oh, not that. So, get this back. Okay, there we go. Let's go. Oh, come on. Now, how many did I want this to be? Oh, they don't meet. Dang it. Okay. Do I care if they meet? Is there going to be a door, or is it just going to be kind of an entryway? I think I might do that. I like this weird way of having things be kind of, I don't know what's the right word. Oblique, is that? I don't know. It doesn't seem to be quite the right word. All right, so this back here is the dining room. This back there, I'm going to fly again. Let's go up. Oops. I keep forgetting where I am and what I'm doing. Okay, so here's the kitchen. And you come out here, and then this is the whole dining room. And this is how you get into the dining room. So what is this bit over here going to be now? If that's the study. What is this room going to be? I haven't decided yet, have I? I don't feel like building in the dark still, so let's go lay on the bed. I think what I'm going to do now, because this is almost coming up on an hour and a half, which I think is a fairly decent amount of time for an episode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the kitchen, and I'm going to put in the door that gets you in and out of the kitchen for the outside, like when you're trying to, get your supplies in. Oops, wait, I missed it. Where am I going, dude? You don't even know how to get around your own house, man. Okay. So now how big of a door do I need this to be? Do I want it to be a double door kind of thing? I think I do. So let's just chop that out. So I think doors are just, I think that would, well, let me just go get some doors. Just not that these are going to be my final choices for doors, but I just want to see. I think the doors are near the end, aren't they? Wait, were those doors right there? Steel bar door. I don't know. I don't know if the dimensions are, actually I guess they would be, wouldn't they? So let's do this. And I don't need this, do I? Yeah, let's put you over here. Alright, let's move you there. Alright, let's see what's what here. So if I do this guy. Yeah, okay. Alright, that's clearly not the way to do it, but okay, I'm just going to leave them as placeholders for the moment. There we go, just have one of them open. Alright, so that's good. This will be how you come in and out of the kitchen from the outside, so you can get your supplies in without having to walk through everything frickin' else in this giant house. Right, so this will be probably where I keep stuff. Right, you know, like shelves and whatever, like I said, your pantry and your larder, kind of whatever. Like food storage and the like. And then probably around here is like where you can do some rudimentary prep, you know what I mean? And then like probably have ovens and cooking and stuff like that happening over. Now, do you want that over here? Maybe along the back wall here. So then what you have over here is this is where stuff goes when it's done and ready to get taken out to served, right? So like the staging area, you know, like where they go order up, this would be where you put it. But we're not going to have a pass-through, right? Or should we have a pass-through? Oh, that's an interesting idea. I'll have to think about that, so I may make some alterations over here in the future. Alright, let me go up. Oops, that's the... I was jumping, man. Okay. So I still haven't figured out exactly how the kitchen is going to be laid out. I don't know. And there's going to be the dining hall. Right, and then... You know, I think this could be like some grand hall, you know what I mean? Or maybe not a hall at all, maybe just like this big area that will have like little purpose arranged areas, right? Like a sitting area over here, and then maybe as well as a music room, what I have over here is like just like a piano or something for, I don't know, do we have a piano in this game? I didn't see any musical instruments now that I think about it. Holy mackerel. Nope, they don't have any stuff like that, do they? I wonder, I'll have to look into, because I know this game is supposed to have really powerful stuff set up for people to do mods. You know what I mean? And I'm wondering if maybe I might make stuff like that. I don't know, I'll think about it. Alright, now let's, so I think this will be like one big giant room with a lot of different areas. So I'll leave that be like that. I'm going to go do some more, just laying down some bricks here, because I don't know why, but I want this room to be broken up into, or this whole area here, I want it to get broken up into 3 things for some reason. That just popped into my head. So let's just go lay that out. Oh, what time is it getting to be? Yeah, it's still not quite an hour and a half, so let's go for a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Alright, hang on, that's enough, isn't it? So we'll leave a space. And that's the room. How you get into that room. There we go. Oops. let's fill that up. There we go, there we go. So that's how you come into this room. I have no idea what it is yet, but it's a room. And just leave some weird terrain kind of interest stuff going on. Come on, oh, I guess I'm still too far away. All right, there we go. Yeah, let's put one there too. All right. All right, so I'll have this be the entrance here. I don't know what I'll do about stairways yet, but let's just all right, let's do this across there. Oh, you know what? I want these two rooms to be attached. Okay. And let's have this room not have a door. It'll just be have an opening. Right, so you'll come into whatever this is. Doing whatever happens in here. You can go into this room if you'd like. Do whatever happens in here. Go out of here, go into that. This is all one big giant room, I think. Is that too far to travel to get to a dining room? You know, I think I'll put a hole over here in this wall somewhere too, or maybe, oh, I don't know. I want to be able to have like a, out here my little atrium area that's kind of outside. I want to be like my great-grandmother had this house in, I guess, I don't remember what you call the areas of San Diego as well as I did when I lived down there. I think it was like Mission Hills or something like that. No, it's not quite right. Man. The street she lived on was called Palmetto, and it was over by Washington, by where that hospital is, kind of that general area. But I don't think you still call that North Park. I don't remember. Anyway, she had this really, really nice old house over there. And she had a dining room that was pretty huge. And it had one of these, like, recessed doors that you could pull out. And when you did, it, like, more or less looked like a wall, you know? And then it went into the kitchen. And then on the other side of the kitchen was a breakfast nook that also had, you could go outside and then go out into the backyard. And it was a really nice house, laid out very well. And anyway, so I'm thinking I want something like that over here. I just don't know where to put it just yet. All right. So we're not dealing with the outside area just yet. Is this enough? Do I want to keep going? Yeah, I'm right at about an hour and a half. I think that's good enough. And I'll think on what I'm doing here for my huge study and whatever. Yeah, I think, okay, so I think this is more or less my layout of the ground floor. So I think after my wanderings in 2 weeks, oh, you know, no, this is August 4th, which means next week is August 11th, which means August 11th will be the first time I do Minetest live on a live stream. It'll be at 4 p.m. California time. So I'm going to have to put a little graphic thing at the beginning of this video saying, please stay to the end for an announcement. You know how people do that thing always get, you know, basically what it is when people say stay to the end, they're trying to increase their watch time, which is fine. You know, I mean, YouTube algorithm apparently likes watch time as part of one of the things that means videos are good, which I get. I mean, I guess that makes sense. In any case, so August 11th, 4 p.m., Monday, August 11th, 4 p.m. is the first ever Minetest Monday live. And then, of course, the next Monday after that will be just another standard pre-recorded mind test. And I don't know how often I'll do mind test live. I don't know. I'll decide as time goes on. I guess it'll depend on how well it's received and how much fun I have doing it, you know. Because did I mention the live streams? I do a live stream every Saturday at 8 p.m. California time. It goes from 8 p.m. to 10:20 every Saturday. We just do some chatting type stuff. It's actually developed into quite a little cool community that hangs out on Saturday nights. And so we do some chatting about stuff. And I also do a little bit of gameplay, you know, sort of the octortal mastermind, those types of things. And of course I do triggers, brushing the mics, and I have one really groovy sound. If you haven't been to a live stream, you might want to check out, because I really, really like it. I use a chopstick in a mason jar to make some really interesting noises. So there you go. How's that for a teaser? In any case, let me get out of this. And let me come over to here to this. So again, that's it for today. I hope everybody had a good time. I hope it was, you know, whatever it was you were coming here to find, whether that's relaxation or maybe you're asleep already and, you know, this served that purpose. Or, you know, you just came here for tingles, or maybe you just enjoy the whole Luwanti mind test thing and you just want to watch some weird old codger. Actually, this month is my birthday month. I turned 60 on the 20th. So how's that for how do you do? So if you want to watch some 60-year-old Gen X guy playing mind test, and, you know, as a noob, well, I guess, do I still count as a noob? I think so. I don't really have I don't have a lot of experience. So, of course, I'm gaining it every couple of weeks, right? So, in any case, aloha siblings.